Alan Watts walked into a party once and realized something horrifying. Everyone around him was dead, not physically, but spiritually, psychologically. They were walking corpses, controlled by something they couldn't even see. Their ego, and yours, is killing you right now. Look around you. Everyone's trying to be somebody. The guy flexing his watch, the girl perfecting her angle, the dude telling the story that makes him look like the hero. They're not living, they're performing. And you're doing it too. Every time you check how many likes you got, every time you rehearse what you're about to say, every time you feel that knot in your stomach when someone doesn't validate you. That's not you, that's your ego. And Watts understood something most people never will. The ego isn't just annoying, it's a death sentence. So, what is this thing? Watts said the ego is the story you tell yourself about who you are, your name, your job, your achievements, your failures, your image. It's the character you're playing in the movie of your life. But here's the problem. You started believing the character is real. You think you are your job title. You think you are your bank account. You think you are what people think of you. And so you spend your entire life defending this fiction. Someone challenges your opinion, ego threatened, attack. Someone doesn't respect you, ego threatened, defend. Someone succeeds while you're struggling, ego threatened, resent. You're not living, you're defending a ghost, and the tragedy? The ghost is in control. Watts identified 5 ways the ego destroys your life, and every single one is operating in you right now. Number 1, the ego makes you terrified of life because the ego is fragile. It can be criticized, rejected, humiliated, so it keeps you small. Don't start that business. You might fail. Don't approach her. She might reject you. Don't share your truth. People might judge you. The ego would rather have you alive and miserable than risk being exposed as not that special. So you play it safe. You shrink. You hide. And one day you wake up at 60, realizing you never actually lived. You just protected an illusion. Number 2, the ego makes you your own worst enemy. Watts said the ego is never satisfied, ever. You get the promotion. Still not VP. You get the body, not as shredded as that guy. You get the girl, not as hot as I wanted. The ego's job is to always find what's wrong with you. Why? Because if you were ever truly satisfied, the ego would lose its purpose. Its entire existence depends on you feeling inadequate, so it keeps you on a treadmill, running toward a finish line that moves every time you get close, and you wonder why you hate yourself. It's not you, it's the parasite. Number 3, the ego makes you lonely as hell, because the ego can't actually connect with anyone. Why? Because the ego is always performing. When you're talking to someone, you're not present with them. You're managing how they perceive you. Do they think I'm smart? Do they think I'm interesting? Did that joke land? You're so busy protecting your image that you never actually meet another human being, and they feel it. Everyone feels it. That's why even when you're surrounded by people, you feel completely alone, because nobody's met you. They've only met your representative, the ego. And the ego can't love or be loved. It can only perform and defend. Number 4, the ego keeps you trapped in the same patterns forever. Watts called this the trap of consistency. The ego says, this is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I do. And God forbid you ever change. You identified as the smart one, so you can never admit you don't know something. You identified as the strong one, so you can never show vulnerability. You identified as the rebel, so you can't ever just enjoy something mainstream. Your past self made a choice about who you are, and now you're in prison. The ego would rather you suffer consistently than grow inconsistently. So you keep repeating the same relationships, the same jobs, the same self-sabotage, because growth requires admitting the ego was wrong, and the ego will never, ever admit that. And number 5, the deadliest one, the ego makes you miss your entire life, because the ego doesn't exist in the present moment. It's always in the past, defending what happened, or in the future, worrying about what might happen. Right now, this moment, the ego can't survive here. So while you're replaying that conversation from yesterday or rehearsing tomorrow's meeting, life is happening. Your kid just said something beautiful. You missed it. The sunset is stunning. You didn't see it. Someone offered you a real moment of connection. You were too busy managing your image to notice. What said? You are living as a ghost haunting your own life. The tragedy isn't that you're going to die someday. The tragedy is you're already dead. You just haven't noticed yet. So how do you kill this thing? Here's what Watts taught. You can't fight the ego, because who would be fighting? Another ego. You can't suppress it, because resistance makes it stronger. The only way to kill the ego is to see through it. 3 practices. Practice 1. Catch it in the act. Throughout your day, notice when you're performing, when you say something just to sound smart, when you check your reflection, when you feel that anxiety about how you're being perceived. Don't judge it, just notice. There's ego. The moment you see it, it loses power. Practice 2. Do something that embarrasses the ego. Wear something you'd normally be self-conscious about, admit you don't know something, share an unflattering story about yourself. Why? Because every time you do something the ego resists, you prove you're bigger than it. You're not the character, you're the one who can choose to play a different character. Practice 3. Return to sensation. The ego lives in thoughts, stories, concepts. Your actual being lives in sensation. The feeling of your breath, the pressure in your feet, the sounds around you. When you come back to pure sensation, the ego has nowhere to stand, because there's no story here. There's just this. And this is where life actually happens. Here's what happens when you kill your ego. You don't become a doormat. You don't lose your ambition. You don't become passive. You become free. Free to fail without being destroyed. Free to succeed without needing validation. Free to be wrong without defending. Free to change without betraying some past version of yourself. People will feel the difference immediately. You'll walk into rooms differently, not performing, just present. You'll listen differently, not rehearsing your response, just actually hearing. You'll live differently, not haunting your life like a ghost, but actually inhabiting it. And the beautiful paradox, the moment you stop trying to be somebody, you become everybody's somebody, because you're finally real. But I need to warn you, your ego is listening to this right now, and it's already planning its defense. This doesn't apply to me. I'll work on this later. Sure, other people have egos, but mine is different. That voice, that's it. That's the ego, and it will do everything in its power to survive. So here's your choice. You can close this video and go back to defending the ghost. Or you can start paying attention, catch it in the act, challenge it, return to what's real. Drop a skull and crossbones in the comments if you're ready to kill it. That's the symbol of ego death, the death that leads to actual life. And if you want more philosophy that wakes you up instead of putting you to sleep, subscribe to Human Zenith, because we're not building men who defend illusions. We're building men who are finally, actually free. The ego is nothing other than the focus of conscious attention. Where you put your attention is what becomes real. Choose wisely.